All right, War Room family, on the line with us, we have Mark W. Wright. He's a producer on Redemption Song, which will air on ESPN during Sports Center tomorrow at 6 p.m. Make sure you're there. Mark, how are you? You're in the War Room.
It's awesome to be in the War Room. Thank you very much. And I give much love to you for including my middle initial. My mom will thank you for that.
Tell her we said she's welcome. All right, so before we get into it, we'd be remiss if we didn't acknowledge the fact, that you are Howard University alum, as we are. We most certainly had to say something about that. We always enjoy when we get to speak to fellow alums from Howard University, and we actually get to speak to a lot of them because a lot of Howard University alumni are doing some big things. So we always get to speak to them during this meeting.
Amen.
Absolutely, I concur, guys. We run this. That's really what you're trying to say.
Yeah,
we run this. We run this.
All right, so let's get into the film, Redemption Song.
Sure.
Now, the film is not actually a 30 for 30. I keep hearing people, call it, they label it a 30 for 30, but it's actually a Spike Lee little joint, correct?
That's correct. That's correct.
Okay.
So the film is 16 minutes in length, and it is a Spike Lee little joint, which what that is a couple of years ago, ESPN brought Spike Lee on to executive produce a series of shorts, 16, 15-minute films, and he'd be working with different directors around the country. And I found out about this series, and through my friendship with Ken and Holly, who directed the film, we got to talking, and I asked him if he's one of the producers that Spike's looking at, and he said no, and I need a story. And I said, well, I have a story for you that's going to blow your mind. And if you ever get a chance to talk to Ken, and he'll tell the story that he's like, yep, everybody has a story to blow my mind. Go ahead, Mark. Tell me your little story. So, make a long story short, there's remnants of Kennan's mind all over Charlotte right now because I completely blew his head off. And he was the guy who, upon telling him about the story of Howard University winning the national championship in '71, getting stripped of their title, and eventually making it their cause, their life's calling to get it back, to gain redemption. Told him that story over lunch, and he was like, "Wow, I got to be down with this Spike Lee series and get this story." So we worked on a treatment, and he ran up the flagpole. And many thanks to the bosses at ESPN Films for realizing what we knew, that this would be one of the films. So that's pretty much how it all came together.
Okay, now I'm just trying to I'm trying to think if I ever remember seeing a Spike Lee little joint. Now, was the story about Kobe Bryant and Tamika Catchings, is that one of the ones in this series?
Yep, that's one of them.
Okay. All right.
There's also another one called Black Hoosiers. That's another one. There's another one about NBA nicknames. I believe that was the first one, like almost a remake of He Got Game with Ray Allen. But I'd be remiss if I didn't say that Redemption Song, if it's not the best of the Spike Lee shorts, my feeling is it's right there at the top. But I am, of course, 100% biased.
Mark, we hear your bias and we support it. This is be awesome. I actually had the privilege and pleasure of viewing the film twice. The second time today, and you used an old cliche to make a long story short, right? So I kind of get the feeling that this is a much longer story. How are you guys able to condense? How are you able to condense the story into 16 minutes? Because there's so much depth there, and so much more could be told. How are you guys able to master that?
That's a great question, and I'm sitting here with actually sitting here at dinner with the architect of that story, Coach Lincoln Phillips. And, I've spent a lot of time with Coach Lincoln and with his former star midfielder, Ian Bain, who ironically is my former high school soccer coach at Springbrook High School in Silver Spring, Maryland. And, we pitched this story as a full-length 30 for 30. We pitched it that way as a 1-hour documentary. And I won't go into, how the decision was made to get a short word grateful that, we got 16 minutes, and we're grateful that we got that versus 0 minutes, because it could have been that, right? So, but we obviously felt that the story was so rich that it warranted 60 minutes or 90 minutes. So it was really, really hard for us to tell the story and condense the story. But listen, just talking to Coach today, he'll tell you that there are 5, 6, 7, 8 players who feel like, hey, man, should have interviewed me. I have a story to tell. And you know what? They're absolutely right.
Right.
And they have a great case for why they, too, should be included. And there was no slight on anybody. They all have a great story. But if we had interviewed everybody and we had talked to everybody, we wouldn't be talking about a completed film right now. We'd be talking about another great idea that never came to fruition. But, with the guidance and the skill of Ken Holly, my brother from another mother, we really just kind of condensed it, left a lot of good stuff on the cutting room floor. And believe me, every time I watch the film, I see what we left on the cutting room floor. It's gratifying. There's a lot of pride when I watch the film, but there's also a lot of, man, we could have done this different. We could have moved this over here. We could have done that, but that's just kind of how it is. Yep.
Well, yeah, you mentioned the director a few times, Kenan Holly.
Yep.
You blew his mind with the actual story, but I'm pretty sure you were, but I'd be remiss if I didn't ask. Were you satisfied with his vision, after he took the story from you guys and basically put his vision onto the screen? Like, were you guys really, really satisfied with what he came out with?
Sure. Oh, my goodness. And here's the thing. I'll say this about Kenan. It is not easy for a guy who's been a director. And when you're a director, and I'm new in this filmmaking space, when you're a director, you're truly the guy who calls all the shots. Action over here, we're doing this, we're doing that. And nobody really questions that, because that's a director. That's whose name appears first. And Kenan, and I don't know if this is brilliance or whatever it is, but he totally allowed me, a guy who does not have a filmmaking background, to be a partner in this effort. And that's really what it was. I mean, it was 50-50. It might even have been 60-40 with me getting that 60, with him just saying, okay, Mark, you tell us who we should interview for this film, all right? And you pre-interview them, and you let me know if they're gonna be good on film. You let me know if we should spend the money and go to New York and talk to Grant Wall and talk to Paul Gardner, who covered the teams back in the 70s. And you tell me which one of and Rock Newman, and why Rock Newman, who is a baseball player, why are we talking to him? Well, Rock Newman, as you guys saw, was Howard University, and he followed this team, and he was a rabid fan. And I don't want to give it away, fans, but Rock really carried this film. He was a superstar. So it really, really, it was tough to figure out who to deal with and tell the story. But we put it together, and really proud of what we ended up putting together. We've shown the movie to a few people, including most of the players who were able to come to the premiere at Howard, the private premiere at Howard on April 26th. And let me tell you guys, there was a lot of laughter. There was a lot of tears, sadness, joy. I mean, it was all of that. And the premiere at Howard exceeded every expectation that I had and that Kenan had.
Man, it truly was an amazing story. And I think that leads us into, with such a beautiful story and a beautiful team, what is on the horizon for you, for Kenan, and for taking this piece of art national, global? I mean, I know ESPN gives you that platform, but what are some of the things you guys have in store for us to see with this story going forward, if you can share that?
Sure. Well, I think candidly and selfishly, as a Howard alum, this isn't just another story for me, right? When our interview here airs, I will have met with Dr. Frederick, the president of Howard University, to really sit down with him and talk to him about what we can do in partnership to make sure that June 10th just doesn't come and go. We want to make sure that Nigeria and Trinidad and Jamaica and Guinea and St. Lucia, we want to make sure that every parts of the world that this story can possibly touch, that it does that. And you guys know about Moreland Spingarn Research Center. There are 100 other redemption song type stories buried under there, brothers. And as an alum and as a journalist and as a producer, I'd be shame on me if I don't talk to Dr. Frederick to say, hey, sir, how can we tell more of those stories so we can put Howard back in a place where obviously Howard is the premier HBCU in the world, but how do we make sure it stays there? The stories of Moreland Spingarn isn't Howard University history. It's African American history. So that's what I hope that Redemption Song births and spawns other stories like it. There's your long answer to a short question.
Well, speaking of that premiere at Howard University, we weren't able to attend, but we did hear that the film was very, very well received by everybody in attendance. So, the word has spread. A lot of people have been so, I want to say, antsy to see the film. A lot of people aren't even waiting for the June 10th airing on ESPN. Folks have basically tried to find their own way of getting it out there. But tell us a little bit about when it airs, what time it airs, and where people can see it.
Absolutely.
Live on ESPN tonight.
Sure. So, as you mentioned, the movie Redemption Song will air on Friday, June 10th, during the 6 p.m. Eastern Time airing of Sports Center on ESPN. Mm-hmm. If you're setting your DVRs, I would set it for an hour, even though it's 16 minutes in length. I would set it from 6 to 7 for that hour block. And also, if you miss it, shame on you if you miss it on June 10th, but just know that all of these Spike Lee shorts are housed at ESPN's brand new website, theundefeated.com, theundefeated.com. So go there, click on videos, and then you'll see that's where all of the Spike Lee shorts that I mentioned previously and Redemption Song, they're all housed there. So grab it, watch it, share it, like it, follow The Undefeated on Facebook and Twitter, and let the masses know. So I want everybody, selfishly, if you could send it, to make sure you send it to 10 people. And it's going to spread like wildfire. That's how the premiere was able to be a success.
And we'll do our part in that as well. We'll spread it all over our social media sites. Before we let you go, because we know you got to get to your meal, but just let everybody know where they can find you on social media if they want to follow you and keep up with what you're doing.
Sure. You can follow me. I'm Mark Wright. You follow me on Twitter and Instagram at Wright, WRIGHT _ONE, Wright1. I'll be sure to engage you in that way. I'm responsible on social media. I'm brag about my college, so if that offends you, I'm sorry, but I'm apologizing in advance. It is what it is. HU is where it's at, and we run this. Is that okay to say?
Mark, thank you so much for your
appreciate
time. We appreciate it. And like I said, we will do our part to get as many eyes on Redemption Song as we possibly can. Because,
thank you, brothers, and thank you.
We're proud of it.
Thank you very much, and guys, thank you for what you do.
Absolutely, and give our regards to Coach Phillips.
Absolutely, I will do that. Thank you, guys, and we'll be in touch again soon. All right.
All right. Thank you.
Okay.
Thank
Bye-bye.
you.
That's Mark Wright, everybody. Producer, Redemption Song. Make sure you check it out. Friday, June 10th on ESPN during that 6 to 7 p.m. Eastern Time Sports Center.